How do you like my new suit?
Dashing. Where'd you get it?
It's an exclusive club.
Emphasis on exclusive, everyone. Anyways, welcome back, true believers and all you spectacular Spidey fans, to another extremely exciting Spider-Man PS4 related video. So first off, everyone, I just hope you all had a very enjoyable New Year's celebration, and I'm very much looking forward to what the overall future of 2020 has in store for both the gaming industry as well as my channel overall. With several other major AAA experiences scheduled to release later on this year, as well as the highly anticipated next generation consoles of that of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X set to launch sometime within the holiday season, it surely guarantees that 2020 is going to be one of the biggest highlights within the gaming industry. And I, for one, flat out can't wait to see what the future has in store. And speaking of the future, that directly ties into what the newest update is regarding two extremely anticipated superhero games. And while you would think it would actually relate to the Avengers project, considering how it does release in less than 5 months from now, it actually is in regards to the highly anticipated sequel for Spider-Man PS4, as well as the extremely secretive game that Warner Bros. Montreal is currently working on, where even though we don't have any confirmation as to what it is, the highly likely conclusion is that it is going to be a Batman game. Now, if you did happen to miss the previous big news update relating to Spider-Man PS4 Sequel, I did actually do an entire video going over that from another industry insider of that of Imran Khan from that of Kinda Funny Games, who did claim that the game could release in holiday of 2021. So if you did happen to miss out on that video or just want to rewatch it again to reinform yourself, I will leave it as a link in the description below. So primarily, this time around, the news does in fact come from fellow gaming industry veteran Victor Lucas, who, if you don't know, is the main founder of the Electronic Playground Network. And to sum it up quite briefly, Victor has in fact garnered numerous amounts of gaming industry insights in the past, which is why whenever he does in fact post something pretty newsworthy, it does come across as pretty valid. And to directly read off of Victor's post itself, he does in fact state, "We're in the year that Sony will talk about Spider-Man for PS5 and WB will tell us about a new Batman game for next gen. #PSA. And of course, even though no one at Insomniac Games, Sony Interactive Entertainment, or even Warner Bros. Montreal have spoken out about these claims, it does make a lot of sense considering how we are drawing closer to the era of next-gen consoles. And once again, if we do look back at the previous statements from Imran Khan stating that we will in fact receive an announcement for Spider-Man PS5 sooner than we think, this does in fact add a lot of validity to what the previous statements have been. Now, before we go into full discussion as to how the Spider-Man PS4 sequel is shaping up, I do want to briefly talk about the status of Warner Bros. Montreal possible upcoming Batman game. Even though Warner Bros. Montreal has in fact been dead silent ever since their teasing on Twitter back in September of 2019, I do think that it is a very highly likely chance that we could end up receiving an announcement for both Spider-Man PS4 Sequel and the possible Batman Arkham Legacy game to be revealed sometime this year. The only question that now remains is when exactly could that be? Well, sadly, due to the absolute dead silence and lack of transparency from WB Montreal, the announcement for the possible upcoming Batman game could be any time from that of now or possibly around E3 or even later on near the release of the next-gen consoles. However, one good inclination that we can take away from Victor's claims is the fact that Batman Arkham Legacy, which is obviously the rumored title for WB Montreal's Batman game, is most likely going to be a next-gen title on that of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Now, whether or not this means that the upcoming Batman game could in fact be a next-gen launch title is still a bit unclear, but I do think that the chances of them revealing that it does in fact exist is pretty high within this year of 2020. So while the overall future of WB Games Montreal is a bit unclear as of right now with whether or not they could in fact reveal and release their upcoming title within sometime this year of 2020, the absolute exact opposite can be said for Spider-Man PS4 Sequel future, which is in fact bigger and brighter than ever. This mainly has to do to the fact that unlike WB Games Montreal, Insomniac Games is in fact now currently a first-party worldwide studio within the lineup of Sony Interactive Entertainment. This means that every game that they will in fact be making in the future will solely be on the PlayStation platform, platform, as well as all of their future projects being provided even more resources to make them even bigger and better than ever before. And thanks to a recent interview with the former head of PlayStation Worldwide Studios, Shuhei Yoshida, he does in fact state that the developers now claim that the PS5 is the easiest platform to develop games on. So knowing how well Spider-Man performed critically and financially, as well as these statements claiming that the future of PlayStation is going to be that of a bright one, it only makes sense that the sequel for Spider-Man would be on that of the future console platform with an even bigger resource and budget than that of the first one. And with the overall public reveal of the PlayStation 5 practically inevitable at this point, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if one of the upcoming PS5 exclusives that they do showcase for it is that of the highly anticipated sequel for that of Spider-Man. But again, given everything that we do know about the current status of the PS5, as well as taking Victor Lucas's claims on Twitter into consideration, we still don't know exactly when we could see the game be revealed within this year. Now, even though I still heavily believe in Imran Khan's possible release window for Marvel's Spider-Man 2 to be set in holiday 2021, I could see them actually announcing the game's existence within early to mid 2020. And due to the fact that Spider-Man is an absolutely massive IP for PlayStation to now fully own in general, I do think it is safe to say that the sequel could be announced at a Sony related event. And the main three events that do come to mind from early to mid 2020 is in fact the upcoming Sony CES showcase on January 6th, as well as the rumored PlayStation related event which is happening sometime in February of this year, and of course the big one of that of E3 2020. However, there is a wrench thrown into this equation due to the fact that Marvel is in fact the main publisher relating to this property, and the fact that they do have another massive AAA game coming out this year with that of Marvel's Avengers on May 15th. But on the flip side, very similar to that of WB Montreal, Square Enix is being dead silent about the overall status of Marvel's Avengers, only telling the public that we will be able to see a deep dive showcase of the game's co-op in action sometime within early 2020. So given that Marvel Games most likely wants to see the Avengers project succeed once it does release, I think the most logical option for them to reveal the sequel for Spider-Man PS4 is certainly at that of E3 if Sony actually decides to attend this year. That way Marvel's Avengers will already be out for the public to play for over a month, and then they will be looking forward to what the next game is within Marvel's lineup. And combining the overall talent at Marvel and Insomniac Games with pairing that with the full exclusivity of the PlayStation 5 to release Spider-Man's sequel on the next-gen platforms is surely acquiring that of a major success. But still, whether or not this actually ends up happening, we'll just have to wait and see, but I for one am very much looking forward to what the future has in store for all three of these major superhero games. Although I'd obviously be lying if I didn't say that I wasn't looking forward to Spider-Man PS4 Sequel the most out of all these other games. So fingers crossed that all these games do well once they are fully revealed to the public, and that each and every one of these developers do fully take their time when making them to create the best games that they can possibly muster. But until that time comes, everyone, that's the video I have for you today, and please let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. What do you think about Victor Lucas's exciting claims on Twitter, and which game are you looking forward to the most out of all these superhero titles? Again, everyone, thank you all so much for all of your undying support towards me and my channel throughout all these years, and I truly hope that I can continue providing you with the content that you do enjoy in the future. But until next time, everyone, feel free to leave a like on this video if you did enjoy it. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay spectacular, Spidey fans, and peace out.
I love you, son.